Today is September 20th, 2025. We are heading into Virgo season coming out of Libra, which is significant spiritually. Um, with this new moon eclipse, the energy is interesting. I'm just sharing on my channel with those who've been with me for a while. Wow. So I'm kind of guided back to these stick structures I used to see where I used to live. Is I had like some just strange experiences when filming on the trails where I used to live, and I had shared, and even back then on one of my live feeds that I had a feeling there was some kind of Sasquatch in there. Only knowing that from learning about what they do, the sounds of them and things like that, and the whistling and the tree knocking, and I'm not talking like a woodpecker either. I'm talking about you know when it's a tree knocking. There's really honestly there's no mistaking it. In the whistle, they have a certain whistle. It's like a whoop whoop, but it's a whistle, and and there's a bird that does that too. And then there was instances with owls. Um, and it wasn't all the time, but I would hear sometimes these owls, and they can mimic owls too. I mean, it could have been a real owl, clearly, but they mimic owls as well. And I would hear like two owls, like they were communicating. One would be way down in the valley, and the other one would be up on the hill because I lived on a burial. I seem to live on a lot of Native American burial sites. It's kind of weird, but I have. Um, so I'm just kind of sharing some of these. Like I'm having this like whoa moments of like holy crap. So when I first moved to where I used to live, my grandson and I would go for walks, and like from my back door, you walk through this little path right into conservation land. Like not, I don't know, maybe 25 steps from my back patio, you know. And I filmed in there for those who've been with me since for a while. You see me film in the woods, and used to be curious about these weird, the way the trees would be all like broken off at the same breaking point, and they all lay the same way, like left, and make a huge circle. And one day I was out there with my grandson, and I just saw like this. It was weird. I got instantly, don't go in there. And I was teaching him, like, when you see these X's, and I didn't know what that, my instincts would just know, you know. So, and I would share with him because, I know that, well, he has a weirdo in his life that brings him in the woods, and God only knows what he does with them. God, please protect him. And he also has people who actually really give a crap about him and takes him, out in the woods for trail walks and stuff. And I was just teaching him a little bit about like, like what's a no, and be careful, mindful of your surroundings. He's very gifted. All my kids are, and they come from my waters. You know what I mean? So anyway, looking at Scott Carpenter, who is, and I've been posting a lot about it because I feel like many of you may come across this, whether you mean to or not. Like I didn't mean to. I'm not looking for this. Believe me, I'm not looking for this. But it's just always been around me, like always. Um, so Scott Carpenter, I've been posting him because he has a lot of knowledge. He's not here anymore. He passed on, but and he was like, I forget the level of military he was in, but the level was a level. Like he saw things, he knew things, and I posted the video of his wife or ex-wife, and she's sharing because I find it's important because I feel like a lot of us may encounter this at some point, at one point or another, or you've already experienced this kind of high strangeness, because we're really in this time where the veil is dropped and this stuff is, because they walk between worlds, And what's happening is that, it's their world isn't really being hidden anymore from us, and our world isn't really being hidden from them anymore. So I don't know who, someone commented, it was just like, the question was just like, really, I posted the signs in the heavens, um, clearly from 2012. We all know about that. And 2017, right, when the Virgin gave birth, well, at the maiden, and to, I don't even know. I just feel like this is just someone poking, but don't poke at me, because sometimes I just may poke back. Don't treat me like I'm stupid. Don't come on my channel and talk at me like I'm stupid, because I'm not. I know what I speak on, or else I wouldn't even bother sharing it, and I wouldn't. And if I sound like a jerk, you get over it. I'm not a jerk. I just get tired of it, and I do. I've been doing this for a minute. I didn't just wake up one day and decide to do this and do reckless abandon, going out looking for this stuff. Which that's why I do. That's why I do the videos. When I do videos, it's because I get a nudge to do it and to talk about these things, because I do have experience. Not a ton of it, but I do, and I share my experience, strength, and hope. Always to help another. Always to help another. Never to hurt another. And if I think you're being an idiot, I'm going to share you're being an idiot, and I am, because I'm just seeing a lot of these people just reckless abandon, thinking that, well, what I'm seeing is their arrogance getting in the way. And that's my professional opinion on that. Um, Thinking that you're going to be able to bargain with a dog man or a Sasquatch, and think that you're at a level that someone else isn't. That's what you call arrogance. It's important to always call God in, whoever you believe God to be, Christ for protection always, Archangel Michael, because we're dealing with spiritual principalities over the flesh, and we really are. So back to like the woods that I'm just having like a lot of, oh my God, like wow, I've seen this, I've seen that. I actually have footage somewhere in my archives of walking on the path one day that I walked on so many times. I can't even count how many times I walked on this particular path. And I used to go film out into this field. And some of you have been on the live feed with me where I've had someone come out of nowhere. And I was talking a lot about back at that time about Mothman's and the Mothman prophecy and the 37th parallel, along with Kentucky. And I'm like, this is going to be relevant. That this when I, this was going to absolutely be relevant. And Ingrid Cole, who is in from the guy who wrote Mothman's Prophecy. He was a being that would appear to him, and he would always have a baseball cap on, sunglasses, and like a Letterman type of jacket on. I came across that twice in the woods. One on a live feed. I was like kneeling down aiming, and I was seeing these spheres like aligning, and I was being shown like these spheres are going to align, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this older guy came out of no. There was nowhere to come from. It was the middle of the woods, in a baseball hat, cap, sunglasses, and a Letterman type of jacket. The guy had to be, I don't know, in his 60s or 60 years old easily. And then he walked in the woods and disappeared after, but he approached me on a live feed, asking me what I was looking at, and scared the shit out of me. Never saw him again. Another time I had a different experience with a younger gentleman, probably in his 20s, brand new sneakers on in the woods, brand new pants on, brand new hat. I think it was a New York hat, to be honest with you. And came out of nowhere and disappeared into nowhere. And it was just like, what the heck? And I shared that on my channel. In these woods, I was seeing how the trees looked, and could feel there was something off. I always felt like I was being watched. It was kind of creepy, not like a paranoia thing, but you can feel it when you're being watched. unless you're oblivious. And believe me, there are people out there that are oblivious. But so anyway, back to Scott Carpenter. Like, he has a lot of experience, and he's a very humble man. And he had a level of clearance in the military, so he knows the stuff. Plus, he's filmed it, and he speaks about the warnings of this. Like, don't go looking. I mean, clearly, you want to go out there and look for them. By all means, good luck to you. And that's why I have done the videos I have done. That's why I'm like, don't call me no hater. Like, first of all, you don't know me. Two, I do not hate, especially people I don't even know. I'm just sharing my truth, my experience, what I understand, and you ain't no hero coming across these things. And what's your end game? Being attacked and eaten as like a Scooby snack on a live feed for content? But hey, if that's what you're about, that's what you're about. But don't think for 2 seconds if I'm not guided to speak on it that I won't, because I do. And anyone who's been with me long enough knows that I do that. And I do that because I care. It's out of respect for the spirit realm. There's a lot going on in the spirit realm right now. We have signs in the heavens, and it comes right down into the 3D world, and you can think it's just entertainment and this and that, and you're not going to get it. This is for those who are really understanding and getting it, and getting your own intuition and messages and trying to figure that out for you. And um, I just get it on all different levels. That's why I'm never pigeonholed into one thing on my channel. It's the supernatural is clearly multidimensional. So yeah, back to someone comment, and I don't know whether it just the comment was like, you can tell when someone's poking at you, like, so you paid attention maybe because you just saw it in a book in 2012 because everyone was talking about, but you haven't been paying attention to the signs, like the moon's been rolling since 2000 and I don't know 8. Orion's on flat on its face in the morning. Like, those are signs. Like, the signs are just on and on and on and on. And you know what? I'm not going to comment back to you. I don't know you. I've never seen you on my channel. And if you looked at any of my content, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So then that shows me you're just trying to poke at me. Get lost, you know? So that's my thoughts on that thing. But back to these stick structures and stuff. Yeah, I've seen a lot of them. And so, and then here where I am now, I mean, I was, again, I've always seemed to live on some kind of Native American burial ground. I've lived in the Bridgewater. I live in the Bridgewater Triangle. I've had a lot of experiences. I'm not sitting behind a computer in sharing, and good. That's great. It's for people to do that, but I've actually been out there. I've actually experienced things. Some things have been absolutely a fucking nightmare, to be honest with you. It's no joke. It is no joke. So to hear the content from Scott Carpenter's now son, who keeps his channel alive and keeps his memory alive, and all his knowledge that he does know, and not just knowledge but evidence and things like that. And I know, and I've spoken, like, if you are investigating, put a camera on your damn back, facing it behind you, because anything that's gonna come around is gonna come up from behind, and it will, because spirit will follow you behind you. Doesn't want you to see it. The dark world does not want to be exposed, even though it is being exposed, if that makes sense. Um, so, I posted about the stick structures for those who are interested, because a lot of you do live in the woods. And, you are also aware the veil has dropped. You're also aware that darkness is walking the earth. And, in our lifetime, this 3 days of darkness will happen. Whether we're actually here or not is one thing, but in our lifetime, it's going to happen. They didn't make that up. I can't tell you how many warnings I've seen about the 3 days of darkness. Again, we seem to go through these phases with it, but a warning is a warning from God, and I trust that. Um, so back to, like, where I live now is Native American land. I'm on original reservation land. I'm on original, like, where the greatest massacre for real, like the greatest massacre of all time happened, short of the flood. Um, where these pale faces came over to these lands. And I've been doing a lot of research on it just for my own, my own personal business. And so they had dug up. I had filmed it. They dug up in this area where it's original reservation land, and somehow the land got sold and all that. I don't know all the specifics, but clearly the land got sold and they're building on it. Blah blah blah. So, and I've shown footage of that, and I've shown footage of what was in these, because back then you dug a grave by a tree. There was a lot of evidence there. But the tribes get paid off too, and they do. Not all of them, but they did around here. So there was this other woman that was always going up there too, and she was, just replanting things. She was, she was really, I don't know what she, her heart was good. That's all that matters is her heart was in it, and her soul was in it. But like they're gonna take down whatever you little stuff you're trying to plant, and it's beautiful that she's trying to do that. Don't get me wrong, but that she's getting all upset that it's getting all ripped out, and it's like, well, sweetheart, they're building up there. They're not gonna. It's like, what do you expect? Um, and so the rocks I filmed, for those who saw that video, where there was a stack of rocks, one right on top of the other. And I thought, that's weird. So I asked her, because I know she goes up there, and I said, did you leave like little stacks of rocks, one on top of each other, like you see in these Zen pictures? And she's like, no. I go, oh, okay. I just wanted, to see if it was you or something else. And I didn't tell her about the howl or anything like that. Like, I don't know her that well, but, and again, I don't, this is my channel, this is my outlet to discuss this. I feel people out who can handle it, who can't handle it. You come across my channel, you can't handle it, just click off. You don't know who I am, except for you who peek in the bushes in the back of my 3D worlds. I know you watch. Um, I'm not gonna, I have to feel that out. I'm not gonna just have that conversation. There's a place and time and all that for that. But, um, so then I shared the other day that I was watching this gentleman who is from Alberta, Canada, and he and his wife go like way up deep in the woods. There's really nobody around, and um, how this mushroom was picked and then turned upside down. And it was suspect, and it was interesting because he had this trading station where he'd bring food and, offerings or whatever. And, realistically, you don't know what you're offering to. Well, just a warning on that one, use your discernment. And then weirdly, the next day, I'm walking in this area, and the fact that I even looked down in this area, I happened to look, and there's a mushroom plucked and flipped upside down. Now, could have a person done that? Maybe. Um, it was just weird. It was like I've just been having a lot of strange, like scratching my chin, like and I'm not looking for this, and I'm not at all. It's just I am on tribal land, and these things are on tribal land. I've shared, you know, um, content that a gentleman who is in the same town who isn't even aware of this stuff existing, going fishing on the in the water down here, and he and his buddy were chased out of the woods by Sasquatches. So all these national forests and things, they're filled with them. Um, so I'm gonna go back to where I used to live, walking on the path. This path I walked so many times. One day, I walked the path to that field I was saying earlier. I walked back, and there on the side of the path was a wooden bird box. It was weird. It wasn't there before when I was walking, and no one else was there. And I walked back. I actually filmed it. I'm like, this is weird, but I just documented it. So I'm just watching some of this stuff from Scott Carpenter, and who knows what he's talking about, who isn't reckless, and who has, I forget what level again, clearance, military, when he was in the military, so he's aware of, like he wouldn't even go to NORAD, so something not good is there, that's for sure. Um, and I heed his warnings, but I'm just like, wow, this stuff was going on where I lived before, and it's going on here where I live now. They're taking all their trees. There's a lot of coyotes now being seen. Well, they got nowhere to go now because they're ripping up all freaking land to build stuff we don't need. Like we don't keep needing to build every patch of fucking land that we have. We don't. We really don't. I'm sorry for swearing, but we really don't. We should be forward thinking, and it should be self-sustaining things that are being built to be self-sustaining, whether it's a home or a condo or a townhouse, whatever it may be. It should be self-sustaining, meaning solar, your own garden, water. It should be completely, but they don't. Then they lose money. This whole place should be self-sustaining, but then the 33 degrees don't get their cut, and that's what that's all about. They're taking and harnessing what's already free and taxing us, and putting a dollar value on it for electric, gas, all of it. It's just it's a very broken system, as many of you already know. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but because of all of that, now we're going to see some high strangeness, because the more lands that get ripped up, the more these, whatever they are, I don't know if they, I do think there might be even Nephilim. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm not saying every single one of them, but it wouldn't surprise me. You're dealing with things, and he's even talked about it, things that we don't even know about. To be like, oh, that doesn't exist, that would be your narrow-minded and closed-mindedness. Um, these things exist. Lots of things exist that we don't even know about. Um, and there's a lot of signs going on, so I'm just getting so much about their rituals that they do, meaning the dark ones, the ones in the high behind the entertainment and all that, you know, um, they're definitely doing some kind of ritual that I can't tell you how many. It's just been sign after sign after sign. It's like, okay, God, what are you showing me here? What are you showing me here? Help me understand, because I see it. It's undeniable. It's undeniable. Um, these assassinations. Even if you think about it, we live in a world where they have no problem assassinating somebody right in front of us. To so that would desensitize you for when it gets worse. Just like these cryptics, so that it desensitizes you, so that you think it's going to be your damn friend, and that you can have a cup of tea with it and rationalize with it. No, I mean maybe. Good luck to you, but no. These are the things that we're warned about for those, and I'm not talking about organized religion, because to me, and if this offends you, I'm sorry, but all that organized religion is all Lucifer. Because to me, God is not like that at all. Not looking to control and to conform at all. That's not the creator. That's that would be the fallen ones, and those are real. Fallen ones are very real. So just use a lot of discernment, and everything I share is for a reason. I don't always understand the reason at the time. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. But I trust to share it. I trust to put myself out here to share it, because it could help somebody, even if it's just one person. And again, I was guided to do that video on the, don't call me no hater. I ain't no hater. I'm being responsible. I'm actually being a responsible person who has dealt and worked in the paranormal community, and dealt with some people who are doing it for the wrong reasons, for notoriety, which that's ego, and that gets you hurt, and putting other people at risk for that. And I've done it. You really, I mean, in my opinion, when you're doing any kind of paranormal, if you're called to it, it's to help somebody. It's to truly help somebody who is going through some kind of spiritual battle. that's what those who do this do it for, and they don't charge you. They're there to help you. It's a spiritual battle. Um, and if you're in it for notoriety, again, you're in it for the wrong reasons, and that's how you get hurt. And I have no problem saying that. So that was I was guided to do that video. So if that really bothered you, I don't know, maybe check yourself of why that would bother you. Speaking the truth on it, it is the truth. So yeah, just reviewing a lot of the stuff I came across for like 4 years. I was like, yeah, I came across a lot of high strangeness in that area. And, I knew I was on Native American burial site because it was the highest point in that particular town. And that's where the natives, get buried. Well, they did when they were buried. They would, because to them, they were closer to the creator. Um, that's why the highest points of most places, that's a lot of native tribes are buried there along with other things, but because their belief was the higher the ground, the closer to God. And so, I happened to live on that, and it was just like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm on another tribal site. Okay, it's just been like that a lot on my journey. Not really not looking. None of this I'm looking for. It finds me all by itself. It just does. And I share it, on my channel because that's what this channel's about. And so some of you may be coming across just some high strangeness like that, experiencing it. We're really in this time, and this eclipse is a little edgy. Like it's a little on, the energy feels like a little on edge, like something has already been birthed. And I have an idea, a very good idea what that is. And I feel like it's playing out right in front of our face. Um, and more will be revealed. We've got two, what they call comets. They're not round balls zooming through space coming at us, ladies and gentlemen. That's not what's going on there at all. And again, if you don't understand, watch Mud Fossil University. He knows what he's talking about. He definitely knows what he's talking about. He backs it up with evidence and proof. He ain't just talking to talk. And just like, I do. I back it up with evidence, and it gets revealed, and it does. Anything I have ever shared on this channel, one way, shape, or form, has been revealed. And I'll be like, yeah, see? And I don't want to do that because I'm not here to prove anything to anybody, but sometimes people need that. And it helps other people open their mind more and be like, oh, okay, I get what you say, I get what you mean. Um, so that's why I do it, and that's why I honestly don't have a problem talking about some of these channels with their clickbait titles. And it's like, do you understand you're calling that to yourself? Like, you're putting in their title that you're being attacked. Well, that be careful because you probably will get attacked because you're putting that out there to you on yourself. Like, think, why would you want to put that out on yourself? Again, but everybody's different, free will and all. That's why I did it. I didn't just do it because I was hating on anybody. I get guided, and I trust that, and I hear that, and I listen today. I listen to that today. So, um, yeah, this has just been interesting reviewing some of the things Scott Carpenter's talking about and some of the things that I've experienced and still experience. Um, it's just more and more is just being revealed. So, a lot of high strangeness. So hang on, ladies and gentlemen. Discern, protect your soul, trust and rely on, hopefully God, the Creator. Um, call on Christ always for protection. Um, spiritual attacks are very real. And that's why I just been researching more of his videos, and just for a deeper understanding. I am a paranormal investigator. It's part of who I am. It's not like I decided that one day. It's always been a part of who I am. I've always had strange experiences my entire life. It's just now there's more knowledge on it than there was before. So, and I do a lot of research. I do a lot of reading. I want to understand more for it to make more sense to me of, okay, this is why I'm seeing this. This is a sign of something that I'm, because I trust my instincts. And with some of the stuff in the woods was like, nope, don't go in there. When you're seeing a huge circle, which is ritual, that's a ritual. With X's, that's a ritual. Don't go near it. Don't touch it. Leave it alone. Unless you choose to be reckless, and there's some people out there that are very reckless, and thinking not thinking their arrogance is in the way. Like I literally heard this person say, "Oh, well, I'm just waiting for it to step out so I can have a discussion with it," and I'm like, "What the fuck? Like, do you really think? Sorry, but like, do you really think you're gonna have some kind of rational conversation? It's intelligent, don't get me wrong, but that's where arrogance and self reliance fails, if that makes sense. Um, it was very arrogant. It was just very, very arrogant. It was just like, okay, good luck with that. Good luck with that. But, so yeah, that's why I'm posting some of the things in my community. Again, if that resonates with you, great. If it doesn't, just move on. Just move on and don't poke at me. Because sometimes I poke back. you know. So you all have a great night, and peace be with you, and be safe out there.